Welcome back, Caistrology family, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and on my channel I post monthly horoscope videos, monthly tarot pick-a-card predictions, and content related to spirituality and occult knowledge. So if this is the kind of content that you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. As for this month, for November 2020, it is wild, guys. We've got 3 planets that are finally turning direct. We've got Jupiter and Pluto forming their 3rd and final conjunction in the sign of Capricorn. And we've also got a full moon eclipse at the end of the month. So guys, if you're only going to watch one video today, please watch for your ascendant sign, and you can certainly watch for your sun and moon signs as well. But without further ado, let's just dive straight in. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your November 2020 horoscope. The month starts off with Mercury finally being direct in the sign of Libra, which is in your 11th house. So you might have been experiencing miscommunications with your friendship network or any network or community that you are a part of. It might actually have been miscommunications with older siblings that you've experienced over the last week or two. But luckily those are all being ironed out now that Mercury is direct. And it could just be that you've been reevaluating your friendship network and just thinking about who you actually want to spend your time communicating with and associating with. On a totally different level, it could be that you've been having a lot of communication with your friends or with your older sibling. Now, on a different level, you might have been reevaluating your long-term goals and aspirations, Sagittarius. And I don't mean things that you want to do next week or next month or as soon as lockdown's over. I mean long-term vision for where you see your life heading, what you want to achieve in this life and in your career, and so on and so forth. Now, on the 10th of November, Mercury will be transiting into the sign of Scorpio, which is in your 12th house, Sagittarius. So initially when Mercury went retrograde, it was in the sign of Scorpio, which means that you might have been experiencing very poor sleep. You might have been waking up in the middle of the night, finding it hard to fall asleep. You might have just not been going to bed at a reasonable hour, which is not surprising for you anyway, Sagittarius. But the good news is that any issues that you've had with not just sleep, but being able to rest, relax and recuperate, all of that is going to be behind you from early November, if not mid-November, because there's usually a 2-week post-shadow effect after the retrograde period. But nonetheless, it could just be that you are feeling more creatively inspired and you're thinking about what you want to do in an artistic or creative or even musical capacity, because the 12th house is one of the houses that rules creativity and music as well. On a totally different level, you could have been in communication with an astrologer or someone of a spiritual nature or in the spiritual industry, because the 12th house also rules over spirituality and meditation as well. Now, Venus will be transiting your 11th house in the sign of Libra from end of October all the way through to the 20th of November. And wherever Venus goes, we can experience joy, more harmony. There'll be some kind of beneficial element coming from the 11th house energy. So you might have enjoyable outings with friends, or you could be enjoying time with your older sibling during this period, or older siblings in general. If you have been working really hard on your long-term goals or aspirations, you could see some kind of financial benefit, as Venus represents money and wealth. In any case, Sagittarius, it's nice to have Venus transiting your 11th house so that things can go better with friends on the whole. Now, on the 12th of November, Jupiter and Pluto will meet for the third and final time. So they have their third conjunction, and the first one was on the 4th of April. So when Pluto and Jupiter are conjunct, which happens every 12 to 13 years, it brings about some kind of crisis or issue that we have to deal with. And for you, Sagittarius, this occurred in your second house, and the second house represents your financial income and your valuables, possessions, and it also represents self-worth. So anything that we value, and that includes you as well. So you might have had some kind of crisis occur from around the time of April, which has negatively impacted your financial circumstances, whether that's unfortunately a loss of job, or you had to take some kind of pay cut from work. You don't have to have lost your job. It might just be that your company asked their employees to, please just help everyone else out by shaving a bit off of your salary. It could be that you're self-employed and the money that you make dried up a little bit, or it wasn't as abundant around that time, and certainly through till November, and it might have peaked again around June. On a totally different level, you might have had to purge a whole lot of valuables or possessions, whether that's to supplement the income that you were lacking, or you just wanted to boost your finances by getting rid of some expensive items or valuable items. It might have been ones that you were quite attached to as well, whether it's a family heirloom, something that you inherited. On a completely different level, Sagittarius, for those of you who were not impacted in a material, physical way, it could actually be that you had some huge crisis regarding your own self-worth and your value, and you might have suddenly seen yourself in a completely different light and realized that you weren't, you were doing yourself a disservice by either how you view yourself, how you speak about yourself, because the second house rules speech as well, and perhaps, you having this epiphany led to you upping prices of services that you offer, and now you've increased your income because you're charging more. In any case, Sagittarius, whatever crisis occurred, you are now better off for it after we're out the other end. So come November 12, you will have more self-worth, more self-confidence. Your bank account will either go back to what it was, or it might even surpass where it was at previously. And if that's the case, congratulations for you guys, that's awesome. Now on the 14th of November, Mars will finally be direct after a 2-month stint, or 2-month stint of being retrograde, and that's in your 5th house, Sagittarius. So the 5th house rules over creativity, hobbies, passions, any business that you create yourself, and also rules children, more specifically your firstborn child, but I'll say children on the whole for this general reading. So you might have actually been having, if you do have children, Sagittarius, you might have been having some kind of issues or arguments with your children, again, especially the firstborn, or perhaps they had some kind of unfortunate health issue, or even an accident of an acute nature. And now that Mars is direct again, your child will be recovering, and definitely from early January, when we're out of the retrograde post-shadow period for Mars, and when Mars changes sign into Taurus, then your child will be out of the woods, which is great. Now, for those of you who don't have children, you might have been feeling creatively blocked and challenged during this 2-month period from, let's say, the first week of September through to middle of November. Whether you are an artist, a musician, you actually might be an entertainer, an actor or actress, you could be in politics. If you're in any of these fields, you might have, or even a writer as well, you might have felt really creatively blocked, like you just can't access that depth of emotion or that creative genius that you normally are able to tap into, Sagittarius. But again, once Mars turns direct, you'll be back to what you are usually like. And for some of you, you might not be in any of those industries, you may not have children. For some of you, it might just be that you haven't been able to enjoy your hobbies or your passions, which again is represented by the 5th house. So if you love working on cars and that's what you've always done, and for some reason you haven't been able to do that, or you love gardening, you will get back to doing what you love and enjoying your hobbies and passions. On a completely different level, if you have been working on your own business, you might have encountered issues with basically how everything's been running. Could be your online business, could be the services that you offer. It could just be that you're coming up with a new strategy of how to operate your business or even launch your business. Perhaps you've been working on something in the background, Sagittarius, which hasn't been ready to put out into the universe just yet because you've just been going through the nitty-gritty details. But again, now that Mars is direct, you'll be able to do that, and all of that will go according to plan, hopefully. On the 15th of November, there will be a new moon in Scorpio, which is at 23 degrees, and it will be in a wide conjunction with Mercury at 5 degrees, and that will also be in a wide opposition with Uranus at 8 degrees, which will be in your 6th house. So Sagittarius, whenever we see a new moon, which is every month, every 4 weeks, we can experience some kind of new beginning. Now, whether it's negative or positive, it depends on the arrangement of the planets and what aspects they're making to your personal planets. But with this new moon in Scorpio, it could be something of a spiritual nature or a mystical kind of nature, a mystical kind of experience or new beginning for you, Sagittarius. Some of you will be connecting with your ancestors. What I mean by that is you might suddenly receive communication from them because Mercury is involved, and it's unexpected because Uranus is a planet which represents anything shocking or sudden upheaval or change. So you could feel like you are experiencing a sign from them that they're letting you know that they're okay over there. For some of you, it could be that you're having your first ever tarot reading, which is represented by the sign of Scorpio. Again, new moon in Scorpio. It could be astrology, which is represented by this Uranus opposition. For others of you, it could be a past life regression that you are doing with some kind of medium or psychic, because the 12th house rules our subconscious self, but it also rules our most immediate past life. Now, that out of the way, for others of you, you could be actually finally conquering some sort of phobia or fear that you've held for the longest time, which has been buried in your subconscious. You haven't been able to articulate or explain why you've always had this fear or why you've always had this phobia. Again, for some of you, it could be something that you've brought with you from your past life into this incarnation, Sagittarius. But in any case, you can finally be free because Uranus can cut the cord from this phobia or from this fear. For others of you, it could be cutting the cord with an addiction, because the 12th house is one of the houses that rules addictions. The other house is the 6th house. And again, Uranus is in the 6th house. So for many of you Sagittarians, any kind of addiction or vice that you've been struggling with, which, is born from escapist tendencies as shown by the 12th house, you can actually be free of this and it'll take you by surprise. Maybe you'll go cold turkey on smoking or drinking. For others of you, you'll just wake up one day and not feel that, compulsion to ingest whatever substance it is, or it doesn't have to be substances. It honestly could be any kind of addiction, and all of a sudden you just wake up and it's gone. You just don't need it anymore, which is awesome. Now, lastly, how this could play out is if you work in an art studio, a laboratory, hospital, prison, if you work in any kind of secluded area, could be a spa, retreat, could work on a private island, you could also work in a hotel, you will potentially have some kind of new beginning, whether that's a creative project or a new project in general or assignment. You'll have some kind of new beginning in a work capacity in one of those aforementioned areas. Now, moving along, Sagittarius, on the 20th of November, Venus will enter the sign of Scorpio, which will be your 12th house. So you will enjoy better sleep. You will enjoy more intimacy with your partner. You will enjoy feeling more creative, especially if you're an artist or you're a musician and you're spending a lot of time working alone, or even if you are doing a lot of deep research, which sees you being by yourself and spending long hours in your bedroom or in your office or whatever it is. Venus will lend a helping hand in this capacity. Now, also on the 20th of November, your season starts. Sagittarius season starts. So the sun will be leaving the sign of Scorpio, leaving your 12th house and entering your first house, where the focus is all on you. You'll have so much more energy. You will feel energized and revitalized. And when people see you, they'll just see, you always have a big happy smile on your face, but you'll just be high on life, Sagittarius, because the sun energizes any house that it is in, and the first house is you in your horoscope. Now, on the 29th of November, Neptune will finally be direct in the sign of Pisces. Neptune has been retrograde for the last 5 months, and Neptune spends about 5 months of every year being retrograde. So, it's nothing that you are unaccustomed to, Sagittarius. But once Neptune turns direct, you will have clarity surrounding 4th house matters, which means your home life, property that you own, property that you live in, where you are living. Even if you don't own property, it might just be that you've been renting somewhere and you wake up around that date and you're like, I'm not happy here, I finally have clarity, I want to move. Or it could be something to do with your parents or your mother, more specifically. I won't go into it too much, but if there's just been confusion regarding a situation with your parents or your mother, again, you will have more clarity on that. Now, last but not least, there is a full moon eclipse in Gemini, and it is at 8 degrees, and it is occurring in your 7th house, which is your house of partnerships and relationships. Now, it is in a wide conjunction with the North Node at 9 degrees, and that means that the South Node at 19 degrees, and that means that the South Node is at 19 degrees Sagittarius. So, Sag, if you have planets at 19 degrees Sagittarius or 8 degrees Sagittarius, or Gemini as well, even if you're 1 degree Sag, but you have Gemini, Venus or whatever at 8 degrees or 19 degrees, look, you're just going to feel this. I shouldn't even go into the degrees. Sagittarius, you will feel this eclipse in a big way. Now, the full moon eclipses bring about the ending of a cycle, completion in some way, shape or form, and the culmination of something. Now, the fact that it's in your 7th house means that this pertains to your relationships and your partners. So for some of you, you could be getting married. If that's the case, congratulations. You could be getting engaged, or whether you are proposing or someone's proposing to you, or this could just be that you are finally making a relationship official. And another way that this can play out is that, it doesn't have to be in a romantic capacity. The 7th house also rules business partners and one-on-one clients. So you might be drawing up a new business contract with a business partner who you've been in communication with for a long time. I just want to clarify, although new moons bring new beginnings, and full moon eclipses bring about completion or the ending of cycles in some way, shape or form, the fact that this full moon eclipse is conjunct the North Node will bring you something tangible, which is why I'm saying that it's, making a relationship official in some capacity, whether that's a love relationship or a business partner, or you might actually be landing a big client if you work in consulting or an advisory capacity, or just one-to-one. You could be landing a huge client that you've been working on for a long time. Now, if you have children, this could be some kind of big event that happens in the life of your second-born child specifically, not your first-born child. And, this could actually be something that occurs in the life of your maternal grandmother as well, because it's the 4th house from the 4th. I won't complicate things too much. Could just be a new, not a new beginning, but completion or the ending of a cycle with your second child, or your maternal grandmother. Perhaps they've got something really big that they're celebrating. And, for some of you, it might be that you are coming to the end of a contract of some type. It doesn't have to be, the ending of a marriage. It very well could be, but I just want to stress, Sagittarius, that if it is the ending of a relationship, whether that's a marriage, whether that's your marriage, whether that is your current partner or business partner, or you're ending a contract or collaboration with someone, again, I want to stress that if this is happening for you, it's not a negative thing. This is not going to take you by surprise. If this happens to you, Sagittarius, whoever's watching this video, it's because you initiated it, and now you're finally getting the closure, and you're coming full cycle. It's something that you decided to end on your terms. Maybe it's been hard to get paperwork back from someone. Maybe it's been hard to cut the cord, or the other party's been resistant, but it's something that you initiated. So whatever this full moon eclipse brings, Sagittarius, for all of you, it will be positive in nature. And for that, I'm really happy for you guys, because being your season, Sag, you guys deserve it. So Sagittarius, that's all I have for you for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to my channel. And Sagittarius, please enjoy your season, and I'll see you next time.